Please remain standing for a moment of silence. I'd ask that you keep in your thoughts and prayers the brave servicemen and women serving our country, both here and abroad. Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon. This is the December 18th, 2024 meeting of the Babylon Town Board. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Mineta.
Here.
Councilman Martinez.
Here.
Councilman Gregory.
Here.
Supervisor Schaefer.
And I am here. Just the seat is a little low. So welcome this afternoon. If you're here for your first time, the meeting is divided up into three sections. The first is dedicated to the public hearings, and there are 3 public hearings scheduled for today. If you're interested in addressing the board on any of the public hearings, we ask you to fill out a card up front on the table and file with our town clerk. Second portion is dedicated to the agenda, and there are agendas on the table up front. So if you're interested in addressing the board on any of the items listed on the agenda, for that we ask you to fill out a card as well. And the third portion is dedicated to the open portion. That's when residents can come forward and address the board on any matter concerning town government or town services. That's not on today's agenda. If you are watching us on our YouTube channel live on the 18th of December at 3 p.m., you can click on the link. That'll take you to the agenda. You can send us a message with a question or comment, and one of us will get back to you in response. If you're watching us at a future day and time, that link is still live. You can utilize that as well and send us a message. Again, we'll respond to you. So with that, we'll go into the public hearings. I just wanted to also note for the record that Councilman McSweeney is excused due to a medical operation, so that could be noted for the record. And I've got the first public hearing in reference to amending Chapter 3, Article 2, Section 3-4 of the Town of Babylon Uniform Code of Traffic Ordinances. I don't have any cards, so I'll take a motion from Councilman Mineta, second by Councilman Martinez to close and reserve. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing is closed. Decision reserved. Second public hearing is public hearing reference to amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Section 2-8 of the Town of Babylon Uniform Code of Traffic Ordinances. Don't have any cards, so I'll take a motion from Councilman Martinez, second by Councilman Gregory to close and reserve. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing is closed. Decision reserved. Third public hearing is public hearing on designating the premises known as 10 34th Street, Copeg, New York, 11726. Suffolk County Tax Map number 0100-200-1-7, a public nuisance, authorizing the boarding up of said premises and authorizing the town attorney to commence litigation. I'll ask Mr. Guarino to come forward. And this is the report on the public. Oh, you have it already? So you can send it over, and the clerk. Mr. Guarino, if you could just identify yourself for the record and give us a brief description of the issue. That's not on?
There we go.
There you go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Schaefer, distinguished members of the board. My name is Jerry Guarino. I'm Assistant Town Attorney for the Town of Babylon. I present to the Town Board today, Town of Babylon Town Attorney's Office report on public nuisance. Address is 10 34th Street in Copeg. It's a Days Inn, D-A-Y-S, also known as Red Roof Inn. The owners are Shiv Santi, Inc. I believe we have representatives from that corporation present to my left.
Yeah, I'll ask them to identify themselves after you're done with your presentation.
My nuisance notice report is based on 2 arrests. The first one occurred on August 19th, 2024, where Stephanie Green, date of birth 9/23/89, was arrested for prostitution and promoting prostitution in the 4th degree. The second arrest was on October 7th, 2024, where Steve Morales, date of birth 12/6/76, was arrested for criminal possession of controlled substance in the 7th degree. This location has also had some previous police activity. Most recently, on October 1st, 2024, an employee had called the police officers to have someone removed from the premises. On October 2nd, 2024, police responded to an unconscious male as a result of an overdose. He was administered CPR. A Copeg Rescue was on the scene and pronounced the person dead on arrival. On October 3rd, 2024, police responded to a call for an unconscious male. EMS removed the aided from the hotel room into the ambulance. A crack pipe was observed on the top of the dresser. On October 13th, 2024, aided reports states male having difficulty walking. Copeg Rescue responded and transferred him to Good Samaritan Hospital. This very short period indicates how many resources and how much resources this one location is taken from the town of Babylon, whether it be police officers or EMS. Pursuant to my report, it is my recommendation that this location be deemed a nuisance. I also have Officer James Johnson here from the 2nd Precinct, who was present at the August 19th, 2024 arrest. He has a lot more information to give to the board. I would like to have him speak now.
Okay, sure.
Officer Sergeant Johnson.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sergeant, just identify yourself.
Sure, no problem, sir. Too loud? Good?
That's good.
Okay. Sergeant James Johnson, Shield 1559, Suffolk County Police Department, 1st Precinct. I started my career in the Suffolk County Police Department in 2010. Started here as a patrol officer. Also worked in gang, crime section, and COPE. Around 2017, I was transferred to the Human Trafficking Investigations Unit, where I was a detective. I was also assigned from 2019 until this past February to the FBI Task Force for Human Trafficking. February of 2024, I made sergeant and I came back home to the 1st Precinct where I belong. And
Excellent.
that's a little bit about my background.
Great.
Can you please tell the board how is it that you found yourself at that location of 1034 4th Street, Copeg, New York, on August 19th, 2024?
Sure. So like I mentioned, I spent a significant amount of time with the FBI task force. That particular night, I was working here in uniform in the 1st Precinct, and I was contacted by the FBI. They had received a referral from an organization called NCMEC. It stands for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Basically, that organization does open source queries to locate missing children that might be victims of sex trafficking or other foul play. They identified a particular girl that was missing from the state of Ohio that they had flagged as a potential sex trafficking victim. They notified the FBI in Manhattan. The FBI in Manhattan initiated an investigation. During their investigation, they learned that her likely location was here in the confines of the 1st Precinct at the Red Roof Inn at 1034th Street in Copeg. They contacted me, having known me from working with me on the task force and knowing that I now am assigned to the 1st Precinct in a supervisory capacity, asked if I could be of assistance. Myself, some uniformed officers, and some plainclothes officers got together, and we initiated covert communications with a sexually explicit advertisement that correlated to the missing juvenile from Ohio. We received replies. In those replies, the person operating that phone indicated that they were at 1034th Street in Copeg, and they were there to see sex clients in exchange for money. At that time, we approached the location. They told us which room they were in. We knocked and announced, and we observed the missing juvenile from Ohio in that room. We also observed her in the presence of another adult woman, Stephanie Green, who was ultimately charged with prostitution as well as promoting prostitution. There was a significant amount of evidence in both. There were 2 separate rooms that they were occupying. One room would be kind of like a managerial room. The other is where the actual sex acts are performed. Both rooms were littered with what we would consider pretty solid evidence of sex trafficking. You had boxes of condoms, multiple cellular phones, cash, lingerie, the sort of thing that you would expect to see in those type of environments. The juvenile was recovered. We gave her services. We coordinated with the local FBI as well as the district attorney's office. She was eventually repatriated with her family in Ohio, and she's since cooperative, and they actually have an active investigation on who compelled her to be at that spot. And those particular individuals are outstanding right now, but the investigation is ongoing.
Can you please explain to the board how these actors advertise?
Sure. So the vast majority of these commercial sex acts are advertised on the internet. There's a myriad of sites. Some of them, I can mention a few: Mega Personal, Skip the Games. Basically what it is, it's imagery and verbiage sometimes coded, sometimes not so coded, and it basically says that we'll do certain acts in exchange for cash and/or drugs at certain periods of time. That particular evening, I conducted an open source database search that's only for law enforcement, and I noted that within the past, don't quote me, but I want to say maybe the last 18 months or so, there were at least 34 sexually explicit advertisements that expressly lists the address 1034th Street in Copeg.
How many? Say that again?
Approximately 34, sir. That explicitly lists 1034th Street, Copeg as the location where these particular individuals were conducting commercial sex.
And this is for underage, or?
It could be underage or adult, yep.
And you said the last 18 months?
Approximately.
Approximately, okay.
So that, having done that search in conjunction with the covert communications we were having with the suspected minor, just something else that brought our attention to the location as well.
Right.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay. Is that microphone on?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you just each state your name?
Sure.
And your position with the company?
Sure, yeah. My name is Shiv Patel. My father, Sirish Patel, is the owner of the property.
Just spell your first names for the
Sure.
guests.
First name is Shiv, S-H-I-V, Patel, P-A-T-E-L. And my father is Sirish, S-I-R-I-S-H, Patel, P-A-T-E-L.
Great. And how long have you owned the corporation?
My father has owned it since 96.
1996?
Yeah, we have been taken over since it was a Rainbow, to the Days Inn, to now a Red Roof. We changed franchises.
Throughout the years from 1996?
Correct, sir, yes. So yeah, we've been,
And how long has it been a Red Roof Inn?
October of last year, sir.
Of last year?
Yeah, so
I
it's a
think you
recent.
I think you came in on a
The
sign.
variance, correct. The sign
Right.
variance, correct, sir. Same thing. Yeah, so we've made some changes to the property, obviously, major renovations and stuff like that since I took over about 2 years ago, myself managing it, or 3 or 4 years ago, actually now. Recently, we've been informed by Edwin Sala, I think it was the town investor.
Ed Salas.
Salas, yes. We had met with him, and he had informed us of these kind of issues that were ongoing on the property. I think that was around November 18th. Right away, I had called Aero Security because he had recommended getting a security guard on premises. So that's what we did. I have a contract with Aero Security as well for Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Do you want to hand that up?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yep. Great.
So he had recommended that.
Just describe for us the, what contract you've entered into.
Sure, yeah. The contract right now is a security contract we have with Aero Security. It's a third-party national security company. I think they're based out of Long Island as well, but we kind of outsource our security needs to them. So now we have an in-person security guard actually on property, monitoring the property at all times, for those days as well.
I'm sorry, which days?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. That's what Edwin had recommended us doing those hours. And
6 p.m. to 4
4
a.m.?
a.m., correct. It was on the contract. Yes, correct, sir.
Okay.
And, being that, I had put that right away. But then also I made some policy changes to the hotel as well. We have this sign from JD Signs in Farmingdale. I have a copy of what's written on here.
Okay. Yeah, if you could hand that up as well.
We made major policy changes to the hotel at this point, kind of restricting what kind of guest access a lot of people have now. On the paper, you kind of read some of them saying guest identification is needed for all visitors. At that point, if my staff catches anyone entering a room, even we have cameras, I updated my camera system on the whole property, so my staff could pretty much monitor all the rooms better. Anyone's entering the room that's not listed as a guest, right away we call them, ask them to check out or provide a ID at the front desk. We can't obviously legally stop people from having visitors, but we could obviously say we need the identification for all people that are entering the room accordingly. And then also regarding any drugs or anything like that, we also mentioned there's no more marijuana smoking and no more drug or illegal substances. Every time my maids go into any of the rooms now, any type of drugs they see, right, they inform the front desk, we check the guest out right away, take a picture and check the guest out right away.
So in terms of the staff that you have, you
Yes.
have someone who works the front desk
Correct, sir. So we have a front desk staff and housekeeping staff and a maintenance staff.
and a maintenance staff?
Yeah,
So
we have one
you
guy
say-
in maintenance.
When you say housekeeping, how many housekeeping staff, how many rooms are in the
We have 37 altogether.
37?
Yeah, and out of the 37 active rooms we have 2 housekeepers.
Two housekeepers.
and one a maintenance man / like laundry man. You know, when it's not that busy, he'll do laundry
And
work as well.
housekeeping and maintenance work during the daytime
Correct,
hours?
correct, sir. Yeah, they'll be working during the
And
day.
there's somebody who's at the front desk round the clock. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah, there's 24-hour,
shifts.
24/7 front desk at the property at all times, right? So any complaints, anytime police are there, any issues, right? We'll always have someone there from our staff. My staff is fully instructed to always work with the police. Any ID they need, if they look in the system, if they need, license plates or whatever. I think my staff, I think the police can vouch for that. That we've always tried to be helpful with them. My staff has never tried to tell them no, or they can't go in, or they can't do this, they can't get camera information.
What type of training do you give the front
So-
desk staff?
Yeah, so we have a franchise, obviously, I was bringing that to. We are a franchise property, so obviously our franchise I notified my franchise about this issue as well. We went through a human trafficking training. I've been through it, now my staff is gonna go through it as well. It's about
that
an
a
hour and a half.
certificate?
Yes, this is my
You
certificate.
can hand that up as part of the record? And when you say that you went through a human trafficking training, what was involved in that?
Pretty much like studying the signs of human trafficking. Like, hey, if you see some of the examples on the seminar, like if you see a man checking for women, he's handling both IDs. Women wearing like skimpy clothes when it's really cold out. Women kind of like in the car, not coming to the front desk to check in, right? The man kind of checks in for the person. Getting 2 rooms when it's only one person. Stuff like that are kind of indications of sexual trafficking in properties. I've been also reaching out to the franchises, obviously, and working with them to see what are the issues at other hotels across Red Roof, nationwide. And these are some kind of indications we've
Can I just ask Sergeant, if you wouldn't mind just coming up again, because maybe you can be helpful here. Maybe Suffolk Police, and I know we have our Commissioner of Public Safety is Jerry Giganti. He was the former Chief of Detectives for the Suffolk County
Yes.
Police Department. I'm sure you worked with him
Yes.
when you were a detective. And I think that maybe it might be wise if we can figure out a way to get Suffolk Police through that task force to work with them.
Yeah.
So we routinely, I was actually one of the instructors for human trafficking awareness. So we routinely, we'll do outreach to the community, to the hotels. We can't force them to take us up on the class.
But if we can,
Correct.
we can
Yeah,
ask
I'll do
them
it.
to
Lunch is on me. So.
voluntarily.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely something we offer. We do it routinely to, not just hotels, but other businesses and civic groups and things like that to, what to look out for.
Great, okay, good. So
Yeah.
we'll, again, we're not taking any action on this today. We're just conducting this public hearing so that the board can review all this information. But we'll make recommendations, whether it's from the extent of actually declaring it a public nuisance and shutting it down to various things. We've done that with a couple of other motels in the town. So that would be a great recommendation to have.
Yeah, I mean,
You
my
and your
father.
staff, and the staff, the people, I'm sure you have regular staff?
Correct. Yeah, I have full-time staff. All my staff are
Right.
full-time, right? So they can come
The
to any
front desk
training.
people are the main,
Yeah, I just got to coordinate with them, let them know where and when, and we could always
Good.
figure it out.
okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you,
no worries.
Sergeant.
No, my father has been owning this property since, like I said, 97, right? So it's his baby. I think he likes the property more than he likes me. I don't want to have this issue. To be very frank with you, we don't want to have this issue, but the concern is that we can't judge a person off when they check in a room. A guy comes in, a woman comes in, gives their ID, goes to the room. We don't have cameras in the room, we don't know what they're necessarily doing. We can't
can
identify
we-
who's a
can we-
drug addict, who's a prostitute.
Right, but can we ask
trying
you,
to.
so I think what might be wise also when you do the training with the sergeant is for them to let you know about these websites or these,
Yeah.
what would you call them, meeting apps? Commercial sex apps, so that your staff, while they're there, they may be watching TV or reading a book, that they can go and actively look for, like he said, he was able to find that address listed. So I think if you work up a procedure.
That would be great. Like, it's so much easier
They
to
can
do,
educate you on how to find that. So if you're seeing that people are advertising
Yep.
that, obviously it would be helpful for you then to be able to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, and also, if you see the list, right, a lot of these rules we have in place, right, the issue is that sometimes when we call the police, they can't really check out a guest because there's no legal notice posted, right? So then there's a whole legality issue. Cops can't do anything. The guests are still causing issue. So that now having this notice posted at the front
Well, we
desk,
want-
everyone abides by it. So then even the cops can see it, guests see it. Everyone has at least a legal background of saying like, hey, these are the house rules of the property. This is what we all agreed to in order
Correct.
to check into the property.
And we're going to make so we have this investigations team that the town board put together. And we've hired these retired detectives who work in conjunction with the first precinct. So Eddie Salas is the main investigator.
Okay.
And he has a team of 5 others that work with him out of the town attorney's office. And so they'll be available to you as well.
Great.
So that not only will we have the relationship with the first precinct that we have, and again, the sergeant has greater experience beyond the precinct with the task force. So we'll make sure that you have all the resources that you need to do that. Because all we want is a willing person or persons, and you're willing because you're here, and you're presenting yourself very well, and we appreciate that because we just want willing people that can work with the resources that we
Yeah, we're open. I mean, I'm trying to have everything good. So.
Sergeant, did you want to?
Yeah, so just to add, so there's dozens of sites, but there are a couple that are the more prevalent ones. You could actually go on those sites on your own
If I
computer.
could get your email by
Sure.
any chance.
And you could actually do a query in the search bar for your address, and they'll pop up. So like Mega Personals, Skip the Games, Babylon Escort, List Crawler. If you took your address and you populated it, it'll go chronologically when the ads were posted. So if you have active ads, the date you actually run that query, it'll show you like right now somebody's posting at your location.
And it's all third party, like
Yeah, so
it's
it's
all like individual.
correct. And a little history about it. There used to be a site called Backpage. Anybody remember that?
I'm sorry.
Backpage.com.
Okay.
So Backpage was the premier site. In 2018, the federal government charged the proprietors of Backpage with sex trafficking, and they shut it down. The double-edged sword to that is Backpage was cooperative with law enforcement, subpoenas, search warrants, that sort of thing. Once you seize that site, it kind of opened up the gates, and all of these new sites are now offshore. They're in countries that don't have treaties with the United States, so I can't serve them legal process to get information that's pertinent to investigations. So if you're worried about like any kind of, so any searches that you conduct or any information that's on there is kind of out of the purview, unfortunately, of the United States to serve kind of legal process to. So just so you know.
But you'll be able to provide them with all the
Sure.
different websites
Yep.
that you know
Yeah.
of.
Give a
I'll
list.
get your email.
Absolutely,
right now.
no problem.
Great.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, we're just hope everything works out and for the best. We don't.
No, I believe it will because you're here. That's the first step, and I know the town board appreciates both of you coming in, being willing to work with us, and we're very happy to have had the sergeant here because he obviously has a great deal of
Helps me out a
experience.
lot as well.
And our own town investigations unit, as well as, like I said, Jerry Gigante, who's our Commissioner of Public Safety, now the retired Chief of Detectives. So he's got a great deal of information and experience as well.
Okay. Great.
Did anybody got any questions or comments? Yeah, Councilman Gregory?
So I have a question. So these rules that you implemented, when were they established? When they were
Literally just right now, November 18th, when we started.
of the last month?
Yes, exactly. When I was told about this from Edwin Sala is when I kind of put the game plan together. Like, let's put a rules together to have. I talked to other hotel owners. What are they doing? How are they avoiding this problem, right? And they kind of gave me some advice. So then I kind of made a big list of stuff that we could, help us also, help us out in the long run and avoid this issue in the future. So now I'm working with the JD Signs at Farmingdale. They're just making this into production, like in a design like this, so it looks kind of nicer. But this will be at the front desk when guests check in, right? So they will see everything, kind of the house rules. And like I said, again, that gives backing to police. When we call the police, hey, this person's prostituting out here, or this person's doing drugs in this room. Cops have the also legal backing taking that person out of here. Kind of helps us keep our property clean as well.
Good, and we'll work with you on that.
Yeah, great. I will definitely get your email, Sergeant, and
Great.
we can move forward.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me just fill this out for you real quick.
Oh, yes, for Christian, yep, just fill that out. So I'll take a motion to close and reserve by Councilman Gregory, second by Councilman Mineta. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing is closed, decision reserved. That's it for the public hearings. We'll go to the agenda. We've got the consensus resolution agenda. I don't have any cards on the agenda, so Are there any items that need to be removed from the consensus resolution agenda? Seeing none, take a motion.
I offer the consensus resolution agenda.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Consensus resolution agenda is adopted as listed. Resolutions for today, Resolution 958
Offer a motion to table?
Second.
till January 2nd at 3 p.m. Second by Councilman Martinez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This resolution is tabled to January 2nd. Resolution 959.
Make a motion to table to January 2nd, 2025.
I second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Resolutions tabled to January 2nd, 2025. And Resolution 960.
I offer resolution 960.
Oh, second, sorry.
Would the clerk call the roll?
Councilman Mineta?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
Councilman Gregory?
Yes.
Supervisor Schaefer?
And I abstain. So resolution is adopted, 3 votes in favor, 1 absent, 1 abstention. That's it for the resolutions. I don't have any cards for the open portion, so I'll take a motion to adjourn by Councilman Mineta, second by Councilman Martinez. All those in favor? Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.